So many times we don't know where the foam starts and the glue ends. And this is a classic example of somebody using the wrong kind of glues to do the job. I don't even know what this stuff is. It's red in color. It kind of looks like hard transmission fluid. And the problem with it is it's hard and very brittle, and foam is not. Foam gives. If you see, this is what you want out of your glue when your glue is dry. If your glue does not stay pliable, you're going to have problems with stress cracking. And that's exactly what's going to be the problem with this thing here. It hurts the flight characteristics of the plane and everything. So I can take this wing and I can break this off in an accident like this here, and I can fix this thing so easy and so quick with hot glue and never have a problem with it again. So depending on where, did I just break that? There was nothing wrong with that wing. Why in the hell did I do that?
Tool up.
Let's see here. So you can use little guys like these to reinforce if you like. On this particular deal here, it's not really necessary. Up here, I would say yes. Okay, so the easy way to do these and use these little skewers, first thing you want to do is grab your piece here and you want to make sure that you see the match. Okay, that's why when you wreck an airplane, you want to pick up all the little bitty pieces, because you can glue them back in place, and that will help your rebuild go a lot better, because things will fit like they're supposed to. Okay, on this particular one, if I was going to use this stuff here, I think probably the most that I would do is 2. None is enough for this particular fix. And just remember, the more of these that you do, the harder it's going to be to get things lined up. Because when you have things like this here, by the time you push it in, it's not going to be exactly right. So the shorter you make them, even the better. Okay, now let's see here. I'm going to go back in, wiggle that around, try to make that a good match, and yes it is. Okay, so let's see how hot that glue is. I ain't going to do that. Let's see, yeah, I think it's ought to be.
Looked like you could have done.
Probably could have. Okay. So one way to test, though, if you don't want to put it on your fingers, put it on there and see if the foam starts to cave in. If the foam starts to cave in, your glue's too hot. All right. Now most people will put too much glue, and what happens is it splooges out everywhere, and then you know that's when that just don't look right. Now I'll show you a couple of little tricks here. So if you'll do it right down the center, just like that there, and then maybe a couple of little dots up by the edges. Not much, just, you know, you don't need much to do this. All right, we're gonna find that hole. And then again, with this stuff here, pressure is the key. Get it lined up and then hold it. And if you don't see just little bitty dots, try to focus in on that and see if you can. You see those little dots sticking up there? Those are those little bitty dots I put by the edge. I didn't do it to glue. I did it so I could see if I'm pushing hard enough. See how they're sticking up there? That's the only reason I put that glue up there by the edge. Now, hot glue, if you let it go and you push back again, sometimes that's already enough to where that glue won't work to its 100% potential. And I'm going to hold, and I'm going to hold. And the colder it is outside, the faster this stuff dries. So it's a good excuse to run your air conditioner up real low when you're working on a foam build. There you go. That's a done deal. And I'd fly that plane with my grandmother in the cockpit. I'm not scared of that at all. By the way, this is a great little airframe. If you find one, buy it, fly the heck out of it. They're just good little ugly planes, and there's nothing I like about them except for how good they fly. Save yourself a lot of hassle. Take the wheels off of it and belly land the thing, and you'll have a lot less damage when you slam it into the ground. As you can see, this thing's been broken here, The wing has been broken here, up that far. Big gouge piece of the foam missing. It's been damaged in here, and they've glued this thing together 9 ways asunder. And you know, it doesn't hurt to glue a wing on one of these, except for the fact you can't get into it to fix it. Here's another deal right here. Look, that wing right there. You see how that's starting to separate? There's a crack coming from right here to right here. Okay? That right there, now that is a potential serious problem. And I'll tell you what, while we're here, we'll go ahead and I'll show you a quick fix for that too. So, instead of breaking this all the way, okay, there's a couple of different things you can do. Now, there's a way that looks a little bit better and one that works or looks a little bit less better, but they're both going to be ugly, but it doesn't matter. That's not what we're trying to do here. We're not trying to win a beauty contest. We're trying to make the plane fly and be safe in the air. So you can pull this thing here down, and you can take this tip hot, and what you do is you melt it in like this here, and then just ease on the trigger and fill that cave full of glue, and then come back and just put the squeeze on it. Before it gets completely cooled down, run your finger over the top of it. If you can't run your finger over the top of it, you're working with glue that's too hot. It's melted your foam, and it's not going to work anyway. But you want to keep that pressure. Everything's about that pressure. You got to keep the pressure. If you release the pressure and re-squeeze, then it's not going to be working the way it should. And this right here will fix this problem, and it'll stop it from continuing. And it's like glass. Once you get, you know, one of the little spiders in your glass, and it'll take off, and until you drill a hole in the end, it's not going to quit. Okay, there we go, and that's a done deal. So, what all did we fix on this plane? Well, can't say that we really fixed anything, but we dadgum sure did some preventive maintenance to it. And that right there probably quadrupled the life of this ugly plane. But, you know, every guy's got to have a couple of ugly planes in his hangar.